Welcome back, friends. I'm Eric, and today we are watching Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. This is episode 1. I've actually only seen each of the Lord of the Rings movies once in theaters, and my Return of the King experience was really bad because the theater was so crowded that I sat all the way in the front and all the way to the right. I had to crane my neck this way just to see anything, and I could still barely see what was going on. I might need to rewatch those movies at some point, especially since I haven't seen the extended editions, and I wasn't even a teenager when I watched those 3 movies. It would be kind of hell for my editors to go through, so we'll see if I wind up posting any of those to YouTube eventually, but we'll see. I am a fan of Middle-earth, though. I read the entirety of The Hobbit at a chain bookstore a couple years ago, and I played through Shadow of Mordor. That was especially fun, including the Nemesis system. Couldn't quite get into the sequel, though. As for this show, it's apparently like the most expensive show ever by episode. Previously, the most expensive episodes of TV shows cost about $25 million. Think like the last season of Stranger Things and the Marvel shows. But Rings of Power clocks in at more than double that at $58 million per episode. So I'm tuning in a lot for Middle-earth, but also a bit for just trying to see what the spectacle is going to be. I can only hope the writing is worthy of such a ridiculous budget. I know this show is a prequel that takes place a long time before Sam and Frodo were around, but there are some species out here in Middle-earth that live a really long time, right? Elves, Ents. I don't know how old Sauron is, and Gandalf. We'll see if any of them show up. But yeah, before we get started, just want to address the questions that have been bouncing around on my channel. I'm not watching House of the Dragon right now, a little too busy with other things, but it might be something I do in the future. But as for this show, full reaction could be on Patreon in the link in the description below. Leave a like, really helps out the channel, and let's get started. Oh, Chase gave this to me.
Nothing is evil in the beginning.
Is it finished yet?
Elves.
Even you couldn't possibly believe their old scrap would float.
It's not going to float.
It's going.
It's going to sail.
Wow. Hey, come on. Kids are the worst sometimes.
I told you it wouldn't float.
Dickwads.
Give up me!
Lose your footing again, Galadriel.
Galadriel.
Sometimes the lights shine just as brightly reflected in the water as they do in the sky. How am I to know which lights to follow?
This is deep for a kid. They're excluding us from the dialogue like 2 minutes in? Baby
We
Galadriel.
had no word for death, for we thought our joys would be unending.
And then the Fire Nation attacked. Ooh. And there's half our budget.
We thought our light would never dim. So when the great foe Morgoth destroyed the very light of our home,
Jeez.
we resisted.
So her brother isn't around anymore because of this war?
We left Valinor and journeyed to a distant realm, a place known as Middle-earth.
Ah. Yeah, this doesn't look like the safest place to be. Did you get 2 in 1? 1 stab?
But the
Oh, no.
war left Middle-earth in ruin.
Whoa. Brother's gone. I'm guessing flashing back to what he said
Now,
will be a big
we
important part.
learned many words for death.
Whoa.
Morgoth would be defeated. His orcs had spread under the command of his most devoted servant, a cruel and cunning sorcerer. They called him Sauron. Sauron found him first
Oh, he survived the battle, but then died.
and marked his flesh with a symbol. In the darkness, his vow became mine. And so, we hunted. Year gave way to year. Century gave way to century.
Yikes.
More and more of our kind began to believe the threat, at last, was ended.
Yeah, no. It'll be quite a
I
while.
wish I could be one of them.
Sauron isn't gone for a very, very long time.
None who ever dared search for this last stronghold has ever found anything. Perhaps we would be wise to camp here. And tomorrow begin the journey home.
We are losing the light.
Don't be so focused on revenge that you lose more people.
There's nothing out here!
Oh, same symbol.
Whoever left it could be long dead.
Or lying in wait, gathering strength, perfecting whatever dark art eluded him here.
We exceeded
She
our
is
orders
right.
months ago.
Holy shit! Whoa! Whoa! She seems better suited for combat than the others.
We march at first light.
Oh, you really gonna turn against her? Oh, you're just laying down your sword. I thought you were like, I'm gonna fight you. They're laying down their weapons. The Rings of Power.
Hostile! Oi, oi! Like a badger. Maybe a fox.
More likely a Harfoot.
Harfoot.
Aww. Cute. They're popping up like daisies.
Clear and clear.
Huh. The hairy feet? Is this hobbits? Hobbitses? Oh.
They'll be fine. Goldie, Nori's with them. You know Nori.
Yes, I do.
If we didn't do everything we weren't supposed to do, we'd hardly do anything at all.
Hey. Aw. Ooh.
A dog. Just a dog. You know how dogs love berries.
That does not look like a dog. Oh, what is that?
Time to go. Where's the big rat?
Wolf. Oh. Jeez. Doesn't look like any wolf I've ever seen.
Your friend has arrived.
Friend.
She's here. Why didn't you say so?
Because you wouldn't pay attention to anything else after they said that.
I hear it said that when you cross over, you are immersed in a light more intoxicating than any sensation in all of Middle-earth. It was not your company who defied you out there, but rather you who defied the High King. By refusing to heed any limit placed upon you, he has chosen to honor your accomplishments rather than dwell upon your insolence.
Damn. What a beautiful shot.
Are you going to arrange an audience or not?
Single-minded.
If after the ceremony, that is still your wish, you shall have it.
He's just looking out for you.
You hear about the travelers?
Travelers?
Mm-hmm. Hunters. 2 of them. Big as great boulders.
She reminds me of a young Ashley Johnson.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? How far the river flows, or where the sparrows learn the new songs they sing in spring.
Hobbit
I can't help but
with
feel that
wanderlust.
Nobody goes off trail and nobody walks alone. We have each other. We're safe.
Aww.
These most valiant of warriors.
For centuries now, these soldiers have
Centuries?
crag and crevice, washing away the last remnants of our enemy. They have proven beyond any doubt that our days of war are over.
Defiance in her eyes. Is she about to make a big stink? No?
These heroes shall be granted an honor unrivaled in all our lore. The far west, the undying lands of Valinor, they are going home!
She don't want to go. They had fireworks? Oh, look at that.
Are you just going to stand there breathing like an orc?
This is the gift of your king.
A gift I have decided to refuse.
Of course.
It is over. The evil is gone.
Then why is it not gone from in here?
Evil does not sleep, Elrond. It waits. And in the moment of our complacency, it blinds us.
She's right, but this society
Let
isn't
yours
set
as
up
you fear.
to help her.
If you are wrong,
I'm not
if you are wrong, will you lead more elves to die in far-off lands?
She said she'd go alone.
How many more statues would you add to this path?
That is my
No one
main
in
concern.
history has ever...
You say I have won victory over all the horrors of Middle-earth, yet you would leave them alive in me. To take with me, undying, unchanging, unbreaking.
Go to elf
into the
therapy.
land of winterless spring.
Put up your sword.
Without it, what am I to be?
What you have always been, my friend.
Aww. The Southlands. The lands of men.
Evening.
Karaya's in 3 moves.
Ha! Poison, more likely. We're on dear. Has it really been a fortnight already?
And the poisoning?
What poisoning?
The one we were just discussing.
No. It was but poison grass.
Oh, let it go, knife ears. The lot you lump us in with died off 1,000 years ago.
Easy, lad. Quench the fire.
Oh. Look at his eyes changed.
I've not seen this flower since I was a child.
We crush the petals to form a cell.
You crushed them.
Gently. And I hope you find Alfrin flowers beautiful.
They were having a
Till
moment.
Next time, then.
Do you think me blind?
No. I think you talk too much. And you smell of rotten leaves.
No, I don't. Only twice in known history has a pairing between elves and humans even been attempted, and on each occasion, it ended in tragedy. It ended in death.
The High King has declared the days of war are over.
We're leaving.
Haven't seen a happy face out of him yet. Is this all CGI? It's gorgeous up here.
The blood of those who stood with Morgoth still darkens their veins.
Oh, shit.
That was long ago, Watchwater.
For 79 years, you've kept watch over the men and women of Tirharad, not because of what their ancestors once did, but because of who they still are. And be grateful that you need never see them again.
Yikes. Mighty judgmental. I think I know this actress.
What's one of them doing here?
Where's the rest of your company?
Most likely searching for me. At this very moment.
Then why are you at my home?
Why do you think?
Say what you wish to say.
I have said it already. 100 times over. In every way but words.
Oh.
You heal animals too? She's got some sort of a sickness.
What manner of sickness?
She wandered east a few days ago. Think she might have ate something.
Poison grass. Oh!
What was that?
I don't think we're done here.
If I leave now, I can reach it by dusk.
I'm going with you.
Going with? It's fine, it's just chocolate milk, right? The hilt of a sword? The hilt of an evil sword. Oh! stand there the entire time, the entire boat ride?
Galadriel was so certain her search should continue.
She might have inadvertently kept alive the very evil she sought to defeat.
How's that?
Well, the same wind that seeks to blow out a fire may also cause its spread. Are you acquainted with the work of Lord Celebrimbor?
Celebrimbor, oh yeah.
I've admired. He is about to embark on a new project, one of singular importance.
Almost like they're watching for something.
Watching for what?
The way she popped up.
A tongue lashing if you don't mind your own cartwheels.
What is it? What do you see up there?
Endless curiosity.
The skies are strange.
How familiar are you with the townsfolk of Holden?
I was born there.
The people of Holden were known for having been especially strong in their loyalty to Morgoth.
Not talking about my friends. Close kin. I know them. They're a good people.
That is why I'm here with you, instead of the Watchward.
Ah.
The only kind touch I've known all my days in this land.
What? Ashes. She reminds me of Nora from How I Met Your Mother. My feet are getting tired. Oh, take their blades away. You won't be needing these anymore. Noticed most of these fighters are men. It's her brothers. If anything, this show is just magnificent to look at. It's like they're ascending to heaven somehow. I had a slight pang of...
Do you know why a ship floats?
Is this as...
and a stone cannot?
Good as it seems? Wait.
Give me your hand. How am I to know which lights to follow?
Sometimes we cannot know until we have touched the darkness.
Yikes. Oh. What? I'm so lost as to what is happening. What was that? Wow, this episode was freaking gorgeous. My gosh. And so I actually got a little confused there at the end. I had a bad feeling about heading to the west to Valinor. Like this deep foreboding feeling came over me. And I'm not sure exactly what they did in the episode to make me feel that way. Maybe it was like the ship sailing into the light felt too much like heading into the great beyond. It felt more like death than anything else. And with what was set up earlier with Galadriel and her brother, that was really well done. The talk of the boat and the rock. How am I to know which lights to follow, whether the one is in the sky or the light reflected in the water? And they hid his response to her till the very end. Sometimes we cannot know until we have touched the darkness. And that's what she felt with this light that they were all reaching out for on that boat. This light that was enveloping them, and the ship just felt wrong to her. And somehow they gave me that same feeling while we were watching it. And for a moment, when we saw the big ball of fire that was zooming past everything, I thought it was being sent to sink their ship. But then Galadriel jumps off the ship, and we see the ship keep going in that direction. And we see that the ball of fire actually hit the ground near Eleanor and Nori Brandyfoot. And it's a person. They are completely naked. They were in a ball of fire, but they're unburnt. Daenerys is so mad right now. She's like, that's my thing. But yeah, this show is telling a big, grand story, though. So many different characters and storylines across so many different areas. So many names to remember. So much anticipation of characters meeting up in the future. So I'm wondering who would get along with who. It's a grand, big epic, and they're laying down some really interesting foundation for things to come. Very curious as to who that person is who just fell out of the sky. And I'm very glad I remember some of the people from the movies even after 20 years. Galadriel, Kate Blanchett, Hugo Weaving as Elrond. But that's many, many, many years later. And given the fact that Galadriel has already been hunting for Sauron for centuries and still looks like a young adult, I'm guessing the movies take place like a couple millennia from now at least. And I actually remember Celebrimbor from Shadow of Mordor. He's a huge part of that game. Pretty sure you get to play as him in certain sections, and he's the guy who forged the rings. And it sounds like that is the project he's about to start working on with Elrond. Galadriel was hunting Sauron for so long, against the wishes of the king, despite him knowing that the threat has not passed. Certainly felt like he sends her off to Valinor more because he sees her as a problem than as a reward for her and her team. Like, he thinks that her zeal will somehow fan the flames of Sauron instead of extinguishing them. I don't know how right he is, but she's turning around. I don't know what role she'll have to play in his eventual revival. Well, not revival, but like his eventual push towards more power. But we know her skepticism that the war is over is warranted, and she might seem overzealous to everyone else, but we know she's right. And at the same time, it's not healthy for her to be so consumed by revenge. And I said to go to elf therapy, but the better line would have been read an elf help book, like self-help. You guys get it, right? And then she tries to let go, though. She wanted to keep continuing north, but her team puts down their swords, and instead of going on her own, she goes back with them. And she has a defiance in her eyes with the king, but she chooses to stay silent. And she doesn't want to go to Valinor, but she relents. She doesn't want to give up her brother's knife, but she does. And then it's not until she feels the darkness that the light is reflected in that she decides to turn back and swim back to shore, I assume. That's going to take a while. But I didn't even know that there was someone before Sauron. His name was Morgoth. And even after his death, there's tension among the different races because of him. And I didn't know, or I just completely forgot, that the elves were once an occupying force in human territory. And it's a very shitty situation, because the vast majority of them just cast judgment on the other side without any openness to the fact that they're not all the same. The humans, their ancestors, fought alongside Morgoth, but it has nothing to do with the people there now. But because the elves live for such a long time, they see them as one and the same. And the elves, meanwhile, are this occupying force that most people just have to tolerate. And so, yeah, they're just constantly at odds. But in the middle of all of it, there are two people, one elf and one human, who have fallen in love with each other. And I looked it up, and I was actually right. The woman played by the actress is played by the actress who plays Nora in How I Met Your Mother. And there were some moments where she looked a lot the same, and then moments where I thought she didn't look the same, but it turns out it is her. But yeah, Arondir, and yeah, he goes back, and his partner says that human and elves together is not a common thing, and that it only has happened once, and it led to like huge tragedy. And meanwhile, the woman's son disapproves as well, because he must hate elves, and he finds the broken hilt of a sword with Sauron's symbol on it. And eventually, man and woman make their way to the east after some disgusting-looking chocolate milk, and they find her hometown burned down. That's rough. And yeah, I'm really invested in this love story, though. He's been told to leave because the war is over, apparently. But yeah, I want to see this work out somehow, even though it can't. I mean, she's going to grow old while he doesn't. And then we had hobbitses. I clocked Eleanor and her kind as hobbits at first, but they called each other like Harfoots. And I was like, is that half-foot? It's hobbits. It's basically hobbits. But yeah, Eleanor really looks like a young Ashley Johnson to me. Very, very cute. And she's a hobbit with this curiosity and wanderlust. Can't wait till she leaves home and says, I'm going on an adventure. Yeah, it's just seeing all the hobbits in their natural habitat was great, though. All the makeup and costuming is just so on point. Everything was just great to a T. And yeah, I gotta stop for another second and talk about how beautiful this show is. I came for something spectacular looking, and boy did it pay off. There were just so many shots that could have been paintings out of just magnificent paintings. It's gorgeous. And the high fantasy, the lore, we had no word for death, and then we had many words for death. What a freaking concept. We saw eagles getting taken down by dragon-looking things. Maybe kind of explains why they couldn't fly to Gondor. I know that's become such a meme by now. There were fireworks that could take on different interesting shapes. That was really cool. The elves had their dead carved into trees. It's just every little bit of world building is fascinating and so interesting. And yeah, really love this show so far. I'm not going to go too much more into detail because we'll talk more after episode 2. I still need to edit this and then record the second episode and send that to my editor to work on before I go to sleep. No, I'm not working them into the night. They live in Europe. But yeah, this episode sets up so much for future episodes and really fascinating. Looking forward to more. Thanks for sticking till the end of the video though. You are awesome. Full reaction is going to be on Patreon in the link in the description below. Leave a like, really helps out the channel, and I will see you all with episode 2 very soon. Bye, friends.